What's up, guys? It's Colton. We're back at the Fine Arts Center with another Photoshop tutorial, and today we're working with a super high quality image. I really enjoy it, and it is of this guy. Now, I'll give you a little preview. Like, what we're going to do today is just a little bit of retouching, kind of taking away some distractions, applying some concepts that may or may not necessarily be applicable for this image, but it could become in handy for others. So this is a little bit of what we're doing. Like, not necessarily this light would work with this image too much because it's kind of distracting from our subject, which we're trying to focus our eyes on. But let's go ahead and make a couple quick marks. I'm going to make this a layer, get rid of my group that I've already made, create a new layer up here, and we're going to take a random color and kind of develop a game plan for what we're going to do today. So zooming in on this extremely detailed picture, even though it kind of, as Peyton says, adds character to our subject, I'm going to get rid of this and this. I also kind of think this is kind of distracting. I think the green's distracting. Kind of want to accent the light coming from the lamp and do a number of other things, but, so I guess I'll go ahead and make a gigantic circle there. That is kind of the game plan. So now I have that idea. That's something that we can do to kind of see what we're going to go for. Now, the first thing we're going to go is get our polygonal lasso tool, create a new layer. Actually, you don't need to do that. Create a new layer, and you can be as rough as you want to be at this step. And I'm going to go a little lower. Something to this effect. Then close it off. I'm going to create an adjustment layer. I'll work with adjustment layers so that it's not ever going to destroy your image. You can always change it. There's no degradation. And so next thing we're going to do is go up to filter, blur, motion blur. This is going to actually blur the mask I have on it, not the actual lightness itself. I'm going to do that again. Command F is going to just reapply the same thing. Next thing I'm going to do is, it doesn't make any sense for it to be right there. I mean, it kind of does, but I mean, perhaps there's a window or something there. But we're going to switch it up, bring it over here. Kind of makes a little bit of a sense that the lamp would be casting light on the stuff, yeah? So I'm going to go into this, get our brush tool, make sure the layer mask is selected, go to black, and I'm going to go, let's see, relatively low flow, mid-range opacity. No, need all the way opacity. All right, and we are going to knock out this line. All right, so now that it's slightly less noticeable there, we're going to do a little bit on this one, not that much. All right, and so in reality, this is not that harsh of a light. So what we're going to do is Command T this, go to warp. We're going to push it up this direction so that it kind of takes the shape of what we want. Now, the more jagged you create it over here, the more it'll look like there's shadows, and it'll kind of give some nice depth to the image. We're not going to spend that much time on it. Next, we're going to talk about our clone stamp tool and the difference between that and the healing brush tool. A lot of people don't know when you're retouching faces, you're going to want to do the majority of your work with the healing brush tool, because with the healing brush tool, that's J, what it's going to do is it's going to take the texture from the source point, so that's where you option click, and apply the color from the area you're painting. I can illustrate this by saying, obviously this guy's skin has texture, yeah, and so does his suits. So S for clone stamp tool. I'm going to knock up the size real quick, and I'm going to source point this area. If I paint, it's going to take exactly the exact same pixels that I just put in my source point and apply it to the new area. That looks horrible. I'm going to Command Z. Now, this will likely look horrible, but not as horrible. I'm going to source point this area. It's going to take the texture from this area, but use the color from this area. So therefore, it's no effect really, because it's the same texture throughout, but on skin you can see a difference. Now, if I'd use the clone stamp tool over here, could work, but you can also start to begin to see a line, wow, right in here. I'll use my crazy colored brush real quick to show you. You're getting a line, I'm at 5% opacity. You're getting a line right here that's really bad. You don't want it. We're going to Command Z again. Command Option Z if you want to do that again. You're going to go to your healing brush tool. What that's going to do is it's going to take the texture from this area but use the color information from this area. Now because the moles on his face, I'm assuming they're moles, are darker, it could be a case where we'd actually want the clone stamp tool. I believe it is. So now real quick, we're just going to get rid of it. That was the illustration that we're going to use. So now if you really want to refine it, you can go like this, and now you're all set. All right. Probably the last thing that I'm going to work on real quick is this green tag, which is really bothering me. You likely haven't noticed it. But in order to do that, I'm going to take a hue saturation level. I'm going to drop the saturation massively. If you want to see what's going on globally, that's what's happening. Not a really bad effect, actually, but I want to maintain the color information. So Command I is going to make black that layer mask. All adjustment layers come natively with a layer mask on them. That's why they're so useful. It allows you to adjust your image properly. So go to your brush tool, and as I paint white on this layer mask, it's allowing me to only desaturate this. Now, perhaps I can go in here and want to, okay, so just to illustrate what I'm going here, is this is the only region that's being affected. That was an option click on that thumbnail there. I can bring the lightness down on this by going into properties, and it makes it less distracting. So just a couple retouching tips in Photoshop.